Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm not going to waste any time. We're going to jump right into it. I asked, people through Instagram, like whether you guys wanted me to talk about, like just go through some success tips, and I'm still going to do that. But you guys chose for the other option, which is for me to discuss whether or not I think that college is still a necessity in today's society. It doesn't surprise me that y'all picked it. I mean, it's something that I think really needs to be talked about. It's really like an elephant in the room when it comes to like this topic, in the discussion between our generation and some of the older generations. I think it's no secret that this generation is so different. I mean, we've got social media, and while yes, it can come with with the goodness of it and with the evils of it, at the end of the day, it is a brand new platform for people, especially like in our generation, the ones that are actually utilizing and optimizing it to build to build full-on businesses, that help us sustain ourselves and help our families sustain things that are willable to our children, which is awesome, and so I don't know how y'all think I'm finna answer this, to talk about this, but I'm not really here. Let me just say a quick disclaimer. This is not to offend anybody, but it probably will offend somebody. This is just me sharing my perspective, and I just want y'all to know that I am definitely pro-education, but again, I'm here to share my perspective because I'm not in school. I would be a senior right now if I'm in college, if I were still in school, but I'm not. So, and I've just been learning like my own lessons throughout me just living my life and making it as a young adult without a college education, which really doesn't make me any lesser than, which I've really just come to learn. But again, this is just about sparking awareness and about sparking thoughts in our mind that help us think, because at the end of the day, I love all of y'all and I want nothing but the best for every single one of you. And I hope y'all want the same for me. And so again, this is just about perspective. If I offend you, sorry, take the perspective and go think about it, and like you decide how you want to move forward from that. That's the beauty about it all. You don't have to listen to anything that I say, but I'm gonna say it anyway because you're on my channel, so let's go. Okay, so as far as whether or not college is a necessity, I really think that you as a person need to first take a step back, take a step out of the equation, and evaluate yourself. Because this is not a jab at anybody. This is just us being transparent. Because transparency is the only way that you can move forward. Really, you have to really be honest with yourself so that you know what your next steps need to be. That's progressive. It's not regressive at all. It's not anything bad about you. But let's just keep it a stack. Everybody coming out of high school was not mature enough, responsible enough, or even remotely ready enough to just be out in the world on their own. Some young adults need a cushioned space to learn about responsibility, to learn about time management, to learn about managing their finances, sacrifices, priorities. Those are all like tools that you really get a chance to learn in a cushioned space when you're in college. The only downside to that is that if you don't have a full ride scholarship, or a scholarship that at least pays the majority of your tuition, you're cushioned for a while, and then you get thrown to the wolves with $20,000+ of student loan debt that you're expected to pay off somehow. And 20,000 is really still sitting on the lower range. I know plenty of peers, plenty of people in my generation, plenty of people in the baby boomer generation that have 30, 40, 50, up into the $100,000 worth of student loan debt. And this is the thing, I've just being transparent. Like I've seen a lot of just like some of like our parents' generation, some of the older generations, really having reservations about young adults not going to college and furthering their education in a college setting. And I totally understand. Like that's the thing. Like I get that. But this is just my from my perspective, and from what I've seen and from what I have learned. Again, just perspective. I'm not calling this a matter of fact. This is my perspective. But I feel like when the older generations were going to college and getting degrees, especially when it was really like first like a thing or really introduced to the world and seen as like that next level, at that point, like, the economy and the job market and career and what it took to survive and to live comfortably was much different back then. So it's like, if you had a degree at a certain point in time, like in history, like, yeah, it was a big deal. Like, you stood out in the crowd because I mean, more than likely a lot of people couldn't actually afford to go to college. It probably wasn't as much of like a common thing as it is now. And the thing is, another thing I recognize is that, you know, the people who have come before us have worked extremely hard and made crazy sacrifices so that we could have these options. And that is something that we have to like eternally be grateful for, because the fact that we even have options in itself is a blessing. But just thinking about the differences of having a college degree back then versus having it today, it's a little different. Back then, if you had your bachelor's, and hell, if you went and got your master's, man, you really were set because of the way that the job market was, the way the jobs were, the way that retirement was. It wasn't like how it is today, because honestly, retirement today, it's a question now. Like, it's not even a statement. People are questioning whether or not they're even actually going to be able to retire. So it's like, you do what the world tells you to do. You go to school, you get good grades so that you can get into a good college. You get good grades there so that you can graduate and get a good job. And then you work your job until you're 65 years old. Maybe a few years back. Today it's like damn near in the 70s. Maybe even I've seen a few people in their 80s still working. People, and I've heard stories of people going and doing it the right way, the way that the world tells you to do it, and them still finding themselves in a position that they never thought they would be in. It's unfortunate that now, we see a lot of people retiring only to retire into like a retirement job. And that's like such a huge oxymoron, like just hearing it, like retirement job. So you're not actually retired, but you retired, but you work in a job, but you retired. I'm just, it's just so unfortunate, because they're doing it because they don't have a choice. Don't nobody want to work until they're dead. Like, no one should have to. And I'm not saying that that's what's going to come from going to college either. All I'm saying is, for one, I think that the answer to the question as to whether or not college is a necessity depends upon the person. I think you have to evaluate who you are as a person. If you know that you need cushion, do I think that college is really the answer for that? Not always. But let's keep it a stack. You do have to go to college for certain professions. Like, for instance, a doctor. I would trust a doctor that had a doctorate degree and all those, credentials and all the education way before I would trust someone who didn't. There are certain career fields that require that, and there are certain career fields where that's just what it is. You have to have that in order to get there, and I get that. But I do think that one question we ask ourselves too often is like, what do we want to do, instead of like, how do we want to live? And you just really have to keep it into perspective. I mean, if you see a lot of the older generation and how some of the decisions, some of the examples that have been set have resulted in wonderful things, some of the decisions that were made, and then you see other circumstances, and the thing is, the process that have gotten to those places weren't too far off. There are people who have gone out and gotten their master's degrees and have gone and earned these amazing positions that have helped them take care of their family, even though they have no time. They still have the money to provide, and maybe they're passionate about it. Maybe they love it. Maybe they have some options. That's awesome. And then you also have people who have gotten their master's degrees that are working right alongside people who don't have any degrees and making the same amount of money. Like, this person has the same degree, working in the same position, making the same amount of money, just thousands and thousands and thousands of more like, debt, student loan debt. And so again, I'm not saying that I think that college is bad. I actually encourage it for the right people who are fully aware of what they're getting themselves into. What I am saying is that I do not think that we as like young adults should make those kinds of decisions based on what our family wants or based on what the world wants. Like, some people don't want to work a job, and that's not to say like we don't know how to work. It's just maybe that person's an entrepreneur at heart. Maybe that's where their genius lies, and there's nothing wrong with that. Is that a different path? Absolutely. But is it fully possible? Yes. Because let's not get it twisted, there's enough money in this world for everybody. That's honest facts. You know, it's just about people having the will and the discipline and all of the success tips that I'll share in another video for another time that can help them get there. And trust me, I'm not speaking from a place of like I got it all figured out, I don't know everything. I'm 21 years old. Like, yes, I'm doing, like I said, I'm doing very well for myself. Like, I'm able to take care of myself, but I am by no means like speaking from a place of like I know everything. You know, I'm just sharing again my experience, because like I said, I'm still building towards what I really want, but I will say that I've learned a lot and I'm still learning a lot, and this is my perspective, you know. So my thing is, more so, in my opinion, more so than thinking about getting a college degree, I really think that we need to be thinking about our finances, like having financial literacy and having an understanding of how finances really work, you know, because if you really think about it, just the way that the retirement plans, the way that the economy, the way that the job market is going, retirement is really dwindling at this point. There's already a lot of people who are not retiring, or who are just retiring into a shorter job, but they're not actually even getting an opportunity to really retire. And then if you think about the small population of people who do actually retire, think about how many people actually retire comfortably. Like not scraping and scrapping month to month, paycheck to paycheck, because they get retirement, but it's not enough. Like, it's just not enough. There's that as well. So you have to think about people who actually have comfortably retired. And from what I've seen thus far, I'm not speaking for everyone, but what I've seen thus far is that majority of people who can retire comfortably have some sort of outside stream of income, something that's a little bit more passive, whether it lies in the stock market. But you have to assess the risks that come along with that plan, or whether it's in real estate, again, assess those risks and those consequences, make smart, educated decisions, or in them owning their own business. And again, just assess all of the consequences, all of the risks that come along with everything, because it all matters. But at the end of the day, you could have 11 degrees if you want to. If you're not working on your financial literacy and building up your finances now, you might still find yourself in a place that makes absolutely no sense according to what society has deemed something that was going to guarantee, like, or, you know, help you achieve this level of comfortability. I'm not saying that it's not good to have a degree, or that it may be a waste of time. Again, for certain career fields, that is necessary, and I get that. But what I am saying is, please consider all of the consequences, all of the risks of whatever decision you make, whether it's going to school or not going to school, and understand that whether you have a degree, whether you have, you know, every degree in the book or no degree at all, it comes down to the way you handle your finances. That's what's going to help you get to where you need to be, so that you can live a comfortable life. Both paths look a little different. Now, if you're a person that's not sure and you feel like maybe you don't want to go, I'm going to tell you, from someone that's not in school, I don't think it's bad at all. I really feel very indifferent about school. That's just how I feel. I feel very indifferent. I feel like if that's what you think is the best for you, you just make sure that you're smart about it. You make sure you pick something that's really going to help you. Because honestly, 9 times out of 10, the counselor that you're going to sit in front of, they're not going to ask you, how do you want to live? They're going to ask you, what do you want to do? Oh, I want to be a psychologist. Okay, here's your classes. I'll see you in 3 months or 6 months or whatever. You know, not, okay, well, how about you look up the salary, or how about you look up how much student loan debt comes along with that? Oh, okay, well, if you do that, let's consider about thinking about a plan to get you out of debt when you come out, because if not, then this happens, and there's interest rates right here. And then, oh, have you thought about the way that this person lives? Why don't you, like, take a look at, you know, like, they don't, you know, people don't talk about that. They're just like, go get the piece of paper and then go out in the world and see what happens. Like, some people, it results in something amazing. They get a great job. And then some people, like, struggle, like they don't have any degrees at all, but they got $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 of student loan debt. I mean, it's just, and then now, especially like being in a job market to where, again, I'm working alongside people who have master's degrees and I'm making just about the same amount of money as them. You gotta like recognize that the world is changing, and recognize that, again, it's not a bad situation if you want to go to school. But we are in a situation, we are in a generation that's very open-minded and that is becoming so aware. So be aware even about that. Like, forget the stigmas that come along with stuff. Think about where you want to be 10 years from now, what kind of life you see for yourself, the things that you really want. And instead of just going the route that they tell you to go whatever route you think is going to be the best to get you where you want to be in your life. But assess what that actually looks like. Don't just pick a career field and go get into thousands of dollars of debt to wind up in a career that you despise. Because then you only have the credentials to work really in one field unless you start all over again, or whatever else that winds up looking like for you. And then you get into that debt and you don't, and then you might not even like the career path that you chose. It's just like, there's so much, I feel like there's so much pressure for people to do things one way, and it's just like, that's not the reality of what's possible at this point. If you don't want to go, you don't have to go. Start a business. You have to work hard regardless. No success comes without some sort of hard work. So whether you're going to put it in school and assess the risks and take on the risks, whatever that looks like for you, or go out there and be an entrepreneur, get your stuff established, put your head down, work hard, budget your money, like actually stack your money, you can be okay regardless. You can be way more than okay. You can be someone that has no degree and builds a multi-million-dollar company. You can be someone that has no degree and struggles real bad. You can be someone that has a master's, a PhD, and goes and works a job, that pays them really, really well. And maybe you're passionate about it. Hopefully you are passionate about it. Hopefully you don't despise it. Or, you can be someone that has a master's degree and still struggles really bad. It varies for everybody. All I'm saying is that I just think the best thing to do as far as thinking about that topic is just, for one, being aware of what it actually takes to live comfortably. Two, really assessing what you want to do with your life, what you feel like your purpose is, what you're passionate about. Because again, like I said, if you're passionate about saving lives and you want to be a doctor, yes, you got to go through that schooling. And yes, it's going to be amazing. You're going to make such a huge impact in this world, and because you're saving lives. If you want to be a lawyer, you want to help save people from situations that they don't deserve to be in. Again, that is amazing. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just speaking from the perspective of, is it still necessary to live a comfortable life? Is it still necessary to be successful? Is it still necessary to have everything and then some? No, it's not. It's not. But it looks different for every person, and you have to be the one to decide that for you. But when you make that decision, again, just assess the consequences. Just assess all aspects of it and figure out, is this the right route for me? If it is, wonderful. If it's not, or if you're not sure, you might not want to get into $30,000+ of debt over it. Because who's going to help you pay that off? Who's going to pay that off? Are you going to pay that off? Looks like you're going to pay that off. So, assess everything. Make a decision for yourself. Make a fully educated decision. Do not make decisions based off of what society tells you, because it's your life and you have to take responsibility for it. And whatever that looks like, if you reach what you feel like is success that is determined by you, all glory be to God, baby. You done did it. You done did it. But yeah, y'all, that's just what I think about it. That's just how I feel. I hope that I haven't discouraged anyone from the path that they're on. Honestly, if you feel some type of way, maybe you just need to assess all the consequences. Maybe you need to rethink everything. And if you determine that where you're at is still the best space, then baby, it's the best space. You do you, boo. Because again, I wish everybody nothing but success. I just want y'all to be cognizant of the decisions that y'all are making and make a decision for yourself, a fully educated decision, as opposed to what everybody else tells you that you should do, because it's your life. And as long as you take responsibility for it and you take action to be successful and you see your plan through, who cares? Who cares? Not I. Not I. But all right, y'all, all right. I hope that this video was helpful. You know, again, I just hope that it got you to think, it got the wheels turning. I hope you take this and, you know, you go do your research, take a look at everything, and assess how you're going to establish that passive, that sustaining income for yourself. And you know, again, I'll be coming back pretty soon with another video. So I love y'all, and I hope y'all have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.